So I said I was going to send out a video talking about how I've gone about unpacking the next generation science standards. What you see right here is the next generation science standard website, nextgenscience.org. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. I'm going to start right from the very beginning just because I don't know where everybody's at as far as what they've used on this website. And then as I build from the very beginning, I'm hoping to pick a number of you up along the way with some of the things that we've done this summer as far as developing curriculum. So first thing I want you to know is that I'm going to specifically go to one of our standards. So under the keyword search, I put in the high school Earth Science Standard 3-2. And you can see where it popped up down here after I pushed enter. I'm going to click on that. And while that's loading, I'm going to go back to talk about the framework. So the framework is the document that was the foundation for writing the next generation science standards. You can download this in a PDF version by clicking right here on the next generation science standard website. What I did was I just went into that search function, I typed in framework, pushed enter, and it brings me up a link to this page where you can actually go about downloading that. You may choose to do that. You may decide that you want a hard copy of the document like I did. I think it was like $30 to order a paperback version of it. So I have a paperback version. You're welcome to borrow mine if you would like. You are free to mark up your sections in my version if that helps you kind of unpack all of these standards. So I'm going to go back to the standard. So the standard that I have here is one of the Earth and Human Activity standards. And this standard specifically says evaluate competing design solutions for developing, managing, and utilizing energy and mineral resources based on cost-benefit ratios. And then it gives some clarification. So it talks specifically what this standard is about at my grade level. And so you should see some clarification materials in your grade band as well. This entire standard, our RESD and the people that we've been working with are calling them performance expectations, or PEs. So if you hear me use the term PE or performance expectation, I'm specifically talking about the standard. And you can actually see where NGSS calls it a performance expectation as well. All right, so I want to go into the work that I've been doing this summer, and specifically we've been working on unpacking our disciplinary core ideas. The work that Sarah and I did this last week went further, and it branched into the cross-cutting and the engineering practices. Really for us, I think we should kind of focus in on the disciplinary core ideas for right now. So this document right here is a document that we've developed through the RESD, and it's somebody's brainchild from, I believe, from MSU. This is kind of our overall unit template. So what we see is the Human Impacts unit for Earth Science at the high school, and then all of those PEs, those performance expectations that would fall under that specific unit. And then underneath, we've broken down each one of the unit disciplinary core ideas. And you're probably asking, where does that disciplinary core idea come from? Well, if I go back to my specific standard, right here you can see the disciplinary core ideas as they would be part of this performance expectation. So if I even hover over top of the document here, you can see the performance expectations for this standard as well. And if I was to have all of them listed here for my unit, and I was to specifically hover over one of them, it would show me what disciplinary core ideas are part of that specific performance expectation. And so if I click on these performance, under the performance expectation, and I specifically identify the DCI, the disciplinary core idea, and I click on that, it will take me to that framework document that I showed you just a minute ago. My computer's running kind of slow right now. So again, it comes from this framework document. I'm going to go down here and click on it, see if I can get it to come up from this direction a little easier. There it goes. So it's still loading. So it's taking me to the specific page within the framework for natural resources. And if I scroll down under this specific natural resources section, it gives me some clarification as far as what the expectation is for students with that disciplinary core idea. And one of the things that I thought was pretty cool, when you go further down into it and you read specifically what they're expecting students to know, once you get to the bottom of it, it tells you what a student should know by the end of each grade level. So by the end of grade 2, what should students know regarding natural resources? By the end of grade 5, what should students know regarding natural resources? So this gave me a little bit more clarification as far as what a student would know at the end of 8th grade. And then as I'm developing high school earth science materials, obviously high school earth science is going to be kind of the only course that students are really seeing an emphasis on earth science. So I would go down here under at the end of grade 12 and I would say, okay, by the time a kid gets done with my high school earth science course, these are the things that they should know regarding that subject of natural resources. So again, we've developed an entire kind of unit outline of each of those PEs. And then something else that we've developed is an unpacking document. And again, I guess I say we've developed. We haven't developed. This document actually came from MSU, and you can see on the left-hand side where there's a number of questions that we're looking to answer. So I've put that same standard here that I typed into NGSS. Evaluating competing design solutions for developing, managing, and utilizing energy and mineral resources based on cost-benefit ratios. And I've put those DCIs, those disciplinary core ideas, at the top. And then underneath here, I've really gone through and I've broken it down and kind of created for myself a breakdown of what would specifically be something that if I was teaching that disciplinary core idea within my class, what would it look like? And what would students be expected to know based on the framework? And so I went through and I broke all of those things down. Now I thought to myself, maybe I should just write it as something that is specific to my grade level. But I really went through and I really broke down specifically that DCI directly from the framework. And so these might be the materials that a student would get over the course of all of their education at our school. And then my thought is later on what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and maybe highlight this or color code it based on where I feel my kids would be or what my kids would need to know by the end of my specific course. And maybe even highlight it saying that at the end of like an 8th grade course, what were some of the things maybe they would pick up in 8th grade as well. I've also put technical solution in there. This was something that I just kind of developed myself based on what I saw Next Generation looking for as far as developing possible solutions. And so you can see where in developing a solution, I thought that it would be important for students to brainstorm and then build some type of final product, whether that be a physical three-dimensional product or just a drawing. Some type of model is probably going to be developed in this case. And then this specific standard is asking students to evaluate a solution, so looking at cost, safety, reliability, and aesthetics. And then also something that I thought was very important was talking about the social and cultural along with environmental impacts that would be part of this. And I also put an emphasis in there that just because science says it would be the most appropriate method to solving a problem does not mean society agrees with that. And so those are some other conversations I felt like I would probably talk with my students about in this unit as well. So I'm hoping that this information gives you some background information on how to go about unpacking those standards, looking at those performance expectations, and then specifically how you might go about taking those performance expectations, identifying the disciplinary core ideas, and then breaking those disciplinary core ideas down into what the framework is saying a student would need to know in each of your courses.